Hi, I like the idea of motivational restart points. My discipline goes up and down, my weight goes up and down, the progress I make toward goals ebbs and flows. So, not giving up, I look toward the start of a week, the start of a month, the start of a year, or even a particular event like a birthday, wedding, or vacation as a way to recommit myself to something I feel the Lord wants me to pursue. For most people, this COVID-19 experience has been a jolting event. But what has the Lord been doing in your heart? Are there thoughts of recommitting yourself to Him or to something you know is important, to family, friendships, tasks, or goals that you put off? Maybe this is a good restart point. And then there are those who will have to rebuild when this whole thing is over. A job's been lost, a venture died, a new beginning hit the wall, and now you have to restart. So, what about new beginnings? An article on D.L. Moody in Christianity Today says this: the Great Chicago Fire in October 1871 destroyed Moody's Mission Church, his home, and the YMCA he ran. He traveled to New York to raise funds to rebuild the church and the YMCA, but while walking down Wall Street, he felt what he described as a presence and a power as he had never known before, so much so that he cried aloud, "Hold, Lord, it's enough." He returned to Chicago with a new vision. Preaching the kingdom of God, not social work, would change the world. He now devoted his immense energy solely to the evangelization of the world in this generation. After that fire, that disaster where Moody lost everything, God redirected him to become an evangelist to England. And much more followed that actually changed the shape of the church in the U.S., all born out of a fire and the complete loss of what he had. So what do? You pray, you have faith, you seek the Lord and follow Him. And if you still can, for the Lord, you dream dreams. You ask that the life left in you, the time that remains, will be used by Him for His glory and purposes. There is still work to do. We just have far too few who are willing to give it all for Christ and try something. So once again, looking to those Spanish flu, World War I, Depression, and World War II years of challenge and trauma for inspiration, here's Edgar Guest, The Golden Chance. There is in life this golden chance for every valiant soul, the unpenned poem or romance, the undiscovered goal. Beyond the sum of all we know and all that man has done, life holds a never-ending row of glories to be won. Still waits the canvas for the paint, the paper for the pen, still searches faith to find a saint among the ranks of men. Though man, it seems, has traveled far along achievement's way, his conquests and his triumphs are but splendors for a day. In all that is of paint and print and marvels which we see, life gives us but the faintest hint of splendors yet to be. On still untraveled roads of fame, the feet of men shall climb, far nobler goals than ours to claim from the rich lap of time. Unreckoned genius yet unborn, undreamed of deed shall do. Night ends the old, with every morn, life bids us start anew. Whew. You can hear how that might have inspired people to have looked beyond their very dire circumstances and to dream and to rebuild. This next poem is parental motivation for mom and dad. Let me add a couple of guiding comments. In our culture, we can gently widen the poem to include all of our children, and why shouldn't we? Also, this speaks to a parent's heart and a parent's need for perspective. Yet many parents feel like failures in some area of the parenting experience. Don't beat yourself up. I think if you interviewed Mr. and Mrs. Noah, they would tell you that culture is a killer and that each child ultimately makes his or her own decision, even with the best teaching. Even here, in God's grace, it's great to be able to refocus and restart regarding family and parenting. Edgar guessed the man to be. Someday the world will need a man of courage in a time of doubt, and somewhere as a little boy, that future hero plays about. Within some humble home, no doubt, that instrument of greater things now climbs upon his father's knee or to his mother's garments clings. And when shall come the call for him to render service that is fine, he that shall do God's mission here may be your little boy or mine. Long years of preparation mark the pathway for the splendid souls, and generations live and die and seem no nearer to their goals. And yet the purpose of it all, the fleeting pleasure and the woe, the laughter and the grief of life, that all who come to earth must know, may be to pave the way for one man to serve the will divine, and it is possible that he may be your little boy or mine. Someday the world will need a man. I stand beside his cot at night and wonder if I'm teaching him as best I can to know the right. I am the father of a boy. His life is mine to make or mar, and he no better can become than what my daily teachings are. There will be need for someone great. I dare not falter from the line. The man that is to serve the world may be that little boy of mine. Perhaps your boy and mine may not ascend the lofty heights of fame. The orders for their births ahead, we know not why to earth they came. Yet in some little bed tonight, the great man of tomorrow sleeps, and only he who sent him here the secret of his purpose keeps. As fathers then, our care is this, to keep in mind the great design. The man the world shall need someday may be your little boy or mine. Keep going, enjoy the day, get out and get some sun. The Lord reigns. Maranatha.